Thinking of starting your very own niche recruitment and staffing business, but need to know the startup costs? Hi, my name is Dee Williams, and I show professionals just like you how to set up, run, and scale your very own niche recruitment and staffing business. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much moolah you need to have to kick this idea off and really bring it to life. With the right mindset and amount of funds, in about 7 weeks, you can be up and running. Are you fired up and ready to learn more? Let's go. Guess what, staffingpreneur? If you want to get the very best knowledge, coaching, and recruitment and staffing startup advice, you have to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a video every Wednesday and Saturday. Did I hear you say you want to catch that next video? You better hit that button. Okay, love it. Okay, listen. When I first started my niche recruitment and staffing business, you know how I always talk about how fired up I was, right? You also remember me telling you that I was like all over the place in the beginning, right? Okay, so you must know when I first kicked off my idea of starting my own staffing business, I had like $500 in my pocket. Not anywhere near what I needed to really bring this business to life and to make it real, right? And then once I launched, and then y'all know I relaunched, I spent too much money, like really getting the business off. So this video is all about the cost of starting your very own niche recruitment and staffing business so that you can treat your pockets better than I treated mine. I experienced both extremes. So anyway, I teach this in my setup group. I teach it in its full entirety, and all of my staffingpreneurs today get to experience it. Today, I'm sharing it with you. Enjoy. Overall cost range. All right, so let's dive right into this because this is 100% a big deal. This is one of the questions that people ask the most. How much does it cost to start a niche recruitment and staffing business? And I just want to do a really quick disclaimer that I'm using ranges throughout this video because everyone has different preferences, right? And I want you to keep that in mind. Just like if you go and buy a car, some people, a Prius is the most beautiful car ever. My daughter is in love with the punch buggies, right? She loves those. Whereas if my car is a Range Rover or a Benz, right? Whereas if someone's may be a Camry or it may be, a Honda. So everyone has their own idea or their own perception of value. And so I use ranges. I don't give specific prices because I believe that since your value may be different from the next person, you may pay a little bit of money for something and see the great value where someone else may want to pay the ultimate amount of money and see that value. So this is just a quick disclaimer before we dive in and get started. I thought it was really important for you to understand that before we get it. Let's go. Look, I am not one to cut any corners. So your overall cost range, $3,000 to $250,000 plus. Now, I'm going to break this thing down because that's a huge cost, right? That's a huge range. And it's important to understand why I provide this range. So let's dive into this. So the setup costs, you really have options based on where you are, and everyone comes into this business in a different place. And I've been able to see that over the last 5-6 years as people have come in with their price ranges. So if you're on a bare bones budget, I'm talking bare bones, right? Like D, I have just been saving up. I know I can do this. But I really only have about $3,000 to $5,000 to play with to really bring this business idea to life. Then you're going to do this business very manually. And when I say manually, meaning you're going to pretty much be on your own. You're going to buy books. You're going to take courses. You may do a couple of one-on-ones with a coach, but you're going to physically be setting up this business by yourself, and you're going to be doing everything manually. You're going to be doing pretty much the only thing you're going to be outsourcing is your payroll and your logo, because we want your logo to look amazing. But you're going to be building your website on your own. You're going to be pretty much doing everything on your own. You're not going to have a lot of wiggle room to outsource much. Some things, yes, but you got to be really careful so we make sure that people aren't taking advantage of you, and you're getting real quality for the work. One of the things that I love in the setup course is that we set it up so that people who are functioning on a bare bones budget can go in and easily learn how to build things on their own if this is where you are. And I get a lot of passionate people, not necessarily nurses. Most nurses come in with a little bit of cash, but folks that are interested more in like customer service, warehouse, I see. Typically, they don't have a ton of cash, or they're coming from a nonprofit perspective. They're looking for grants. They are coming in on a bare budget. And if that's you, that is okay. Be proud of where you are. As I told you before, I started with less than that. It took me a while to get somewhere, but I still started and I still did it. Now, some of you got a little bit of cash to play with, right? You got a little bit of something in your pocket. You've got between $6,000 and $35,000, and that's a nice little gap, a little range there. That will get you a little bit more, I would say, comfort in setting up your business, right? So that gives you the ability to have a little bit more hands-on with the setup process. You still get a course, but you get hands-on. And I'm not just talking about the D. Williams Staffingpreneur Setup course. I'm talking about in general, where you're actually able to have enough funds to hire somebody to help you set up this business properly. Because if you've never ran a staffing business before, you need a coach. Whether you use Staffingpreneurs Academy or someone else here on YouTube, I don't really care personally, but you 1,000,000% need a coach. And that needs to be factored into your startup costs so that you can do everything the right way. You're starting this business so that you can generate revenue, right? So don't be stubborn like some people I see that come through, like look for a coach. Okay, let me keep going. So you should be able to get more hands-on, with your business, helping you get everything set up. You're going to be able to outsource a lot of your business, right? Which is going to give you an advantage. One of the key things that you'll have enough revenue to do is to outsource not just your payroll, but you'll also be able to get your automation set up. You'll be able to get assistance with getting your automation set up. Right now, you'll probably still need to run the majority of your automation, but you can at least get help with getting it set up with this, and maybe even in some instances, help actually having someone run it. Right? You just have this process is going to be a little bit easier. You'll set up it'll take you a lot less time to set the business up than the person that's on the bare budget. It's going to take them a lot longer because they're manually building everything from scratch. Where here you'll be utilizing your thought process, and then you'll be telling somebody else what you want them to build for the most part. I feel like if you're on the lower end of the $6,000 side, then 100% for sure you are going to do more for sure, right? You're going to do more. But if you're on the higher end of the spectrum, where you're closer to like 25, 35, you'll be able to get so much assistance. It's crazy. And you'll just be able to really get your business up a lot faster. I say very realistic 7 weeks. For the 3 to 5K, I would say you're looking for way more than 7 weeks, especially if you're working a full-time job trying to get the business set up, right? And then you have the 35 to 250K plus. These folks are fully prepared financially to set up their business. A lot of these folks that come in with this type of cash are running their own payroll. Some of them do say, D, no, I'll still outsource until I get to learn the business. We have the option for both. But typically these folks are coming in with cash in their pocket, ready to run payroll. In some instances, so in all instances, they can outsource just about everything and probably bring in a staff to help them from day one, right? Especially if you're on the higher end of that 250 plus. If you're very particular about the setup of your business, your brand, your execution strategies, your launch, like billboards, like here in LA, I'm here in LA, launching a new brand, a new business, and they have billboards are everything here. Someone who is playing around in the 35K to the 250K may have an execution strategy where billboards are involved, billboards, advertisement, and different things like that. So you're talking about a bigger budget, where you can do grander things, where you can do and really get the word out about your business, where you can expand faster, have a staff, and all that great stuff. So it's really, you really want to be very honest with yourself about where you are financially. Now, I do see some people say, you know what, Dee, I'm at the 3 to 5K range. And honestly, I really want a lot of that automation. If I can get a little bit more of that stuff at the 6K range, let me just save up a little bit until I can hit that 6K and then go right in. That is an option. Some people say, let me just start where I am right now and then I'll pick up as I go along. Just understand, the least funds you have, the longer it's going to take. The more funds you have, the faster it's going to take, and the faster you'll see results in your business. So just keep that in mind. All right. Okay, listen, comment below and tell me, did you expect startup costs to be more or less? I want to know. Let me know. Pre-launch costs. Now, I want to talk to you about pre-launch costs, because you might be saying, is this for everything, Dee? So let me talk about pre-launch. What you would need at the beginning of the business, like before you launch. I would say bare minimum 2K, on the top end 10K. And these are all of the things that you were going to spend money on prior to launching your business, prior to calling a client, prior to calling a candidate, okay? The legalization, of course, naturally, the location for some of you will be doing virtual. You'll still have to pay for the address. But for some of you, legally, you're required to have an office. For payroll, most of you will have employee payroll funding, so you won't have any startup costs on that end. But if you are covering payroll, we like to say at least 3 months in advance of the number of employees you believe that you're going to be staffing. In your first 3 to 6 months in business, you want to have that in your bank account before you launch, right? Insurance, so you're going to pay for insurance. Branding, to brand your company, to build out your brand, to market your company, and the automation that goes along with your business, which you 1,000,000% need, especially if you're a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 man firm. I mean, multi-billion-dollar companies are using automation. So as a smaller company with limited support, you're going to need automation, and you want to set that up way prior to the launch of your business. Build out smart and intelligently, right? Technology. You're going to pay for your technology and set it up and all of that. And there's typically technology involved with branding and marketing and generating leads and all of those other things. So it's not just the technology that goes with your staffing business, but it's the building of the staffing business and the maintaining of the staffing business that the technology is a part of. One of the things that I meant to mention on here and that I didn't put on here, which we need to add, and I hope we can do that, and that's printing. You'll be responsible for printing as well financially, right? So printing your business cards, printing your sales sheets, printing your your folders or, contracts or whatever. You're going to have printing costs, right? Leads and lead generation, I think, is probably automation, and leads are the most expensive things you're going to spend money on in real life. And it's not insurance, maybe payroll if you're going big, but leads and lead generation is going to be huge. You're going to spend money on that in the very beginning, getting it set up first, and then actually running it, okay? And then you're gonna need extra dollars for to just execute your launch your execution strategies, right? Because before you actually launch the business, you want to have your strategies set up, and you want to have them already, not just written out in your mind and on your computer, but physically set up. So if you say one of my execution strategies is a webinar, then you need to have the topic set up, the webinar set up, all of the technology around the webinar being set up, the marketing date for the first webinar, your guest line, like you need to have everything set up before you actually launch, so that when you launch, you click the button and your system starts rolling. It's like the gears just start going like in the inside of a big clock. Most people have this idea of starting a niche recruitment and staffing business, and they go legalize the business, get their location, and maybe get insurance, and then they go out and start calling people, and that's a very rookie move, and it's very premature. So I really want you to be serious in your thought process around, like, okay, if I've got this, I've got these costs, then how do I allocate my funds properly? I understand that I have all of these areas that I have to allocate my funds to. How much should I be allocating to? What technology should I be using specifically for my specific niche market and my business? What are some standard practices and some out-of-the-box practices in what people have been doing with their marketing and branding and automation? Like, you should be thinking about all of these things prior to the setup of your niche recruitment and staffing business. And I just hope that this video was super, super impactful for you. It costs to set up a business. This is not a multi-level marketing business. Even those businesses, it costs to get involved. But I just want you to be realistic, and I want you to understand that no matter what business you get into, it's going to require income for you to get started. This business is no different. So let's do this, right? You're ready and to really bring your business to life. Here are your startup costs. Here are the costs that it's going to cost to start and run your business. Let's get fired up. I look forward to seeing you really bring your business ideas to life. You know exactly what it's going to take financially to get your business off the ground. But what about the business as a whole? Are you really aware of what's involved in starting your niche recruitment and staffing business? Well, I have written a comprehensive guide on what's involved with starting and running this business from idea to launch. I encourage you to download the guide from the link in the description below. It's free, and I've created it just for you. Also, I know you want to join a community of amazing staffingpreneurs just like you, and I have a secret society where I share up-to-date startup advice to help you navigate this sometimes tricky space. Don't be shy. Join the Facebook group in the link below. It's there for you too. It's my personal invitation from me to you. Please do so. I show staffingpreneurs just like you how to set up, run, and scale their businesses. If you liked this video, hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. I only accept the good ones though. I'll see you in the next video.